Good morning, everyone. It's your girls from Obscurations, me, Tay, her, Dana. And today we're going with random ass shit.
It was a random ass weekend.
Yeah, it was. You're basically going to hear about everything that we kind of did this week, or at least in the past 72 hours. So we've spent an extended amount of time together in the past 72 hours. I teased and joked with Dana. I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in forever. It's only like less than 12 hours ago.
Exactly. So hold on a second. Hold that thought.
Okay.
Laura.
Yes.
Shout out to Laura. Thank you very much for the mug. I'm honored that you thought of me. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. I don't have mine on me right now because mine is currently in the dishwasher. But yes, thank you very much. She was nice enough to make those for us. And she listens to us, so she carries us around with her everywhere she goes. We're always a part of her life. Yeah, I was gonna say, how do the kids do it now? Here we go. I was gonna say I'm still the old school, like heart. Apparently that's how you know. Oh, that's you know what we're talking. That's gonna be something that we talk about this week too. Old, just unagi. That's. So I think where do you want to start? Where do you want to start at?
So let's start with Friday night. So in Ontario, in Windsor, where Taylor and I reside on the outskirts of.
We reside on the outskirts of. I like that. I like that for a way.
They host the largest trivia contest in Ontario. And it is called Battle of the Brains, and it's for the Alzheimer's Society. It's a yearly event. It's
anyone who's watching.
Yeah, it's $65 a person, table of 8. You get a meal. Your table comes with a beautiful snack box. Mm-hmm. You can bring snacks in. They encourage you to dress up. So next year we're going to be dressing up.
Yeah, and we will be bringing better snacks because now we know.
More snacks.
Yeah, basically just more snacks.
But it's fun. It's 8 rounds, 10 questions per round, with a break in between the 4th and the 5th round. No cell phones.
No smartwatches.
Nothing. It's your brain. The original computer system. And it's fucking fun as fuck. Seriously, if you live in our area, it's always in January, usually the second last or last, I think the third Friday of January. But they started announcing it in July, August.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because it sells out that fast. There were 152 teams.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Taylor's first time. I cracked her virginity.
Yep, I would say it's my virginal outing.
But not her last, obviously.
Oh God, no! I can't wait to do it all over again already. Like, I wasn't sure what to expect just because trivia questions can be so widespread. Like, my papa, I can remember when I was a kid, my papa would ask me the most random out there trivia questions that there was no possible way I could know them. Like, okay, who sang whatever back in 1936? I'm like, Papa, I think you were only 2 years old at this time. How am I going to know? It's like, what the hell kind of question is this bullshit? Grammy wasn't even born yet. It's like, what the fuck? So I wasn't sure if it was going to be really weird, obscure.
Yeah.
Questions like that. So it made me so happy when they had a good mix in there, and they were like, hey, they had the question about Harry Potter, and like the both of us and just smacking, just like, oh, we know this one. The Star Wars question. I
Taylor's
know.
like, that's my category.
I helped. I'm helping. Like, it was just so much freaking fun the entire way through. And even though, like, Dana was keeping track of our score as we were going through, and as she put it, were we the top 5? No. Top 50? No. Top 75? Yes.
Maybe.
We're going with that. It was still so much fun, even when we didn't know the answers. It was fun to even look around the table. Like, you could tell when a question came up and not a single one of us had any clue, and you just always go,
The deer in the headlights look. You're like,
what
you
the fuck?
any ideas? Fuck.
Anyone want to pick a random number? And I mean, we did well on some of those guessing ones where we actually got like oh yeah, how many are we going to guess? 5. I don't know why. It's 5. Although we were really off on the one with the how many
Grammys?
Yeah, how many Grammys? Darren 17, you're 11, turns out it's 0.
I had no idea Queen never won a fucking Grammy. What
I
the
can't
fuck
believe that either. I'm like,
is
what
the
the
Academy of Music thinking?
Yeah, like I would have thought I can't like I can't. I don't get how they haven't won anything, like any of the groups that they listed. Like, okay, they listed some high up there groups, Queen, ABBA, who else was it? It was well-known groups that have.
Yeah, it was three groups that you would have thought had won some fucking Grammys.
Yeah, so I was flabbergasted when we came back from the bathroom. We were looking like, oh, here's the answers. Like, yeah, the answer is 0. And you could hear that the entire room must have gotten it wrong because you heard everyone, instead of being like, you could tell the answers that we all got right because you'd hear, yeah, we got it. But for a couple of them, you knew no one got them or next to no one got them because you literally heard the entire hall go, oh,
Yeah. What do you mean?
we want arguments with that. It was like, what the hell is this bullshit?
Yeah, definitely a good time. If you do get a table of 8, the people you want to take,
Bring in ringers.
like, should have. So I'm not trying to be a smartass. This is how I built my team. I am an absolute music buff. Even the 2 of the music questions that I answered, I was like, oh, I can't believe I knew that.
There were like the one, let me tell you, the one she pulled out of her ass where she literally wrote it down, and you could tell the way that you're writing it. You made a face like,
Let's up what? Question mark.
Exactly. I was like, maybe, I don't know. And then just the moment that it came in that they were like, oh, like a lead air balloon. All of us at the table, like, my jaw dropped, and we all just turned around like, holy shit.
High-fiving each other.
I was like, then you just saw Dana's shocked face when it was like, Led Zeppelin.
Fuck
that.
Right.
Like, holy shit,
Yeah,
you pulled that out.
So you want to have the music buff, the movie buff, the book buff, sports guy. And sports can come 2 ways. You can have your hockey, baseball guy, and you can have your football, college ball guy.
Yeah, I would say, because there's going to be differences between the two.
Oh yeah.
Let's just put that out there.
Current events. Yeah, like the questions are so well done. Jack Romeri, who is our quiz master for the evening, does such an amazing job presenting, and Francois Jacques from Mac Flash Entertainment, I believe he's the one that makes the questions. You can find him all through Essex County doing trivia nights. and they're fun. Go if you find them. But yeah, just these two guys together are like Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney singing together, the fucking dream team, right?
They really are, because I mean, it takes like, you want one who's got a good charismaticness about him for keeping you enthralled and interested as he's asking the questions, and a good like back and forth with everything. But then you also want someone who knows what questions to ask, that's not going to be the, hey, 100 years before you were alive, what is, I mean, the Anne Boleyn one was the one that was like, oh, I know history too. It's like, yes, David, you're right, it's Anne Boleyn. Like,
Taylor and I were smacking each other on that one.
Yeah. Like, oh, we know. That Severus Snape, we know that one too.
Oh, and by the way, you know how last night I told you I was wearing my serial killer socks?
Yes.
Friday night, and it clicked at 1:00 this morning when we were getting ready to go to bed. On Friday night, we had that Stephen King question, and the answer was The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
I had on my Shining socks.
You brought us good luck.
So that was funny. But yeah, definitely Battle of the Brains. It was the 13th year, and even during COVID, they still had it, but they did it via
online
Skype type thing.
Via something.
Yeah, it was like a gigantic Zoom meeting. Prices were cheaper, and there's no dinner. Like, they didn't send you pizza or anything, but it still, they still had it, and they were able to raise money for a good cause. They do a 50-50 draw.
I would say, and they told us they have raised $450,000 so far with this.
Yeah.
So you think about, that's a good chunk. That's already almost at $500,000 being raised. Like, yes, I know to a lot of people that might not seem like a lot of money over the span of 13 years. But when you look at the fact that the very first one that they had only had 30 teams, and you get to this year where they had 152, and they have to use every single hall, they have to put tables everywhere, it tells you how well received it is. And what I find funny is that there's that many people, and yet I know no one else had heard about it, like, until I told them about it. And they were like, what the hell's Battle of the Brains? I'm like, I don't know, it's a fundraiser for something. Dana asked me to be in. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it, it'll be fun, let's rock it, bitch. And I am so glad that you invited me to it, because it was just a fun night out. Like, I love trivia. I mean, I love board games in general, and I love trivia. I never get to do these things because I don't have friends who want to play the games. Or, I mean, like, there's been some Trivial Pursuits that we've had throughout the years growing up, because growing up, I used to play them all the time.
Right, same.
And there's a lot of people who don't enjoy playing them because they don't feel they have the information in their head for it. They're like, I don't have any ability, nothing's staying in there. Like, I can't think of anything that I would know. Like, you know what? Part of the fun of trivia is that you probably won't know the answer. And when you do something like this, where it's a team, it takes some of the pressure off, because you can literally look around your table and be like, do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Like, okay. What are you doing? Oh, Darren's got this one. Don't worry. The gays got our points. We're here for it. Yeah.
Yay for the gays.
That was the best part. Marvin Gaye from the Gays. Woo.
Yeah, how my brother picked Marvin Gaye out of his ass beyond me, but goddamn, he knew the answer to that question, and he was fucking right. He was confident he knew the answer.
He was too. It was like, good job. Yeah, go Darren. Yeah. And then it never ceases to amaze me, like, with some of the questions when they're like, okay, what? And this shows you how current that they're staying with it, which is impressive, because it's hard to have super up-to-date stuff to ask about. at least in my mind, it would be a pain in the ass. Because at least old stuff, then you're like, okay, yeah, here are some old things about like the early 2000s, the early 2010s, the 1990s, stuff like that. And like you're like, yeah, this is all played out. Everyone should know these answers. But they pull from current happenings now, where he's like, oh yeah, what Netflix series has this happening to the HMS Courageous on
On
the
the
series?
opening credits or something like that.
Yeah, and we were all sitting there, we were like, the fuck?
Uh,
Like, I know it's a current one. And then when he said it, I'm like, yeah, that show only came out like a few months ago.
and detail. You remember
Yes.
the one question in the Netflix series Squid Games?
Yes.
What do the coffins look like that they put the eliminated players in? Who pays
Which,
attention to that?
yeah, I was gonna say the fact that they brought that up, and I still wanna the lyrics to Fresh Prince of Bel Air was also, I think, was like the first question, wasn't it?
In West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Yeah, but according to them, they said South Philadelphia. Prince of Bel Air lyrics. I want to see this bullshit. It is West Philadelphia. I swear to God, he said South on that day, and we're like,
We still got the point for it, though.
did we?
Because our points matched.
Okay, good. I say, because I swear he said South Philadelphia, and I'm like, I will fight you on this.
I'm throwing hands.
Exactly. There's going to be hand throwing.
So that was our Friday night. And when Taylor says we spent an extraordinary amount of time together, she's not lying, because Friday night it was a good solid 5.5 hours.
Yeah, because got there at a little after 6:15.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
And we
so.
left
Got
at
there
about 20 after 11.
Yeah. So.
And then last night, Taylor got this a beautiful, amazing idea last year sometime. I don't remember length.
I was going to say, yeah, it was sometime before. Like, I remember it being a while ago, and I was thinking ahead, going, okay, want to start it in the new year because that gives us time to get through blackout for me.
Yeah. She wanted to start a D&D game.
Mm-hmm.
She invited me to play. Now, I'm going to tell you my age. I will be 54 in 2 months. I had not played D&D since I was 13. Do the math, kids.
It's only been a couple of years.
It's only been a year or two. So I was excited. And I never really said anything out loud to my family about it until one day, group of us were in my kitchen playing cards. Taylor was not there, but there was a group of us in my kitchen playing cards, and I mentioned that we were going to be starting to play D&D. And it was like a whole bunch of eyes went like this. And my husband asked if he could join. And our friend Jeff asked if he could join. And our friend Randy asked if he could join. And then my son asked if he could join. If you know, my son is, he has very bad anxiety. So being social to him is big steps. Like,
yeah, I was going to say, like, that's
steps.
the bane of his existence.
So, as it was, we picked last night to start. And I had said to Taylor, come for 5:30. We'll order pizza. We'll have pizza, and then we'll sit down in the kitchen. My kitchen's pretty big. I have a very large table. And we'll just like start hashing this shit out and start the campaign. So my husband, when Taylor said yes, he could join, and he was like, "Oh, giddy!" Like literally giddy, like a schoolgirl. He was online. He was buying dice.
Yeah, he wasted no time with
And
that.
and yeah, oh yeah, he had a great time. Character developed not so fast on, but that's okay. we got him caught up. um so Randy wasn't feeling well on Friday. So Saturday was out of the question for him. So he bowed out. We started the campaign without him. Two of the other people that Taylor had initially invited sort of like wavered out. So Jeff and Brendan stepping in for them was perfect. And then Taylor asked if she could bring one of her best friends' 17-year-old son, Ethan. Now, I don't know if best friend is going to watch this, but I'm going to tell you what an amazing young man she has raised.
Yes, she really has.
Never mind the fact that he's what, 6'7"?
6'6". Towers over.
He is taller than my refrigerator, and I loved it. What really impressed me was when he came in. Jeff was already there. Norm and Brendan were out picking up the pizza, but Jeff and I were sitting at the table conversing. And Taylor came in with Ethan, and Ethan introduced himself and shook our hands.
Yes.
I've never met a 17-year-old that shook a hand.
And I'm going to add to that, just to expand to it, that he has a younger brother that I've also met. I haven't gotten to spend as much time with him. Ethan and I have hit it off. We're very nerdy together, which I'm sure his mother now just regrets horribly. Haha, it was her choice. But both of them, literally, like, she raised them so well because they were both such well-behaved kids, so well-mannered. And they are the only two kids that I have met, because Ethan's 17, his little brother is 14. And both of them came up the first time that I met them, stood up and shook my hand. I'm like, the fuck are these? Like, this is not what
that's a parent that did something right.
Yes. And she did a lot of right things with those boys. Like,
yeah.
Ethan just, like, he emulated it so much last night, where it's like, he is going to be such a victory for society.
Maybe, hopefully, future prime minister.
You can do it. Go, go, go.
But so they sat down. Norm and Brendan came in with the pizza. I'm like, okay, everybody, let's get our pizza and we'll sit down and we'll eat and start getting going. So yeah, he got a plate and a napkin and he got his pizza. Taylor got him a glass of water. What warmed my core, absolutely warmed my core. I am one of these people. You come into my house, your first visit, I will get you a cup of coffee. I will make you a cup of tea. I will fetch you a glass of water. Anything you want after that, get off your fucking ass and go in the kitchen, get it yourself. I don't believe in slavery.
I'm not your slave. I'm not getting you this shit. You couldn't even pay me to get you this shit.
It, like I'm not even kidding. It made me feel so good to see him just stand up and open my fridge, grab a pitcher of water, fill his glass, close it, got up and got some pizza when he was hungry, chowed down on some chips. It was just so refreshing.
And just in case his mother is watching this, yes, he did ask permission if he could go back for more pizza. I heard him ask Norm at the table just to be
did
sure.
He?
Yeah, I heard him.
Oh, shit. Like, it was there. Help yourself, you know?
I know that, but the way that she raised them is that you ask, and I just want to make it clear that he did ask, and the outcome is, get it your damn self. It's right there. But yes.
He is an exceptional young man, and
yes, he is.
I am absolutely, it was an absolute pleasure to meet him and to now have him absorbed into our group of miscreants playing D&D.
Yes. And I'm gonna talk about my nephew here for a minute and just be like, the creative ways Actually, I'm going to talk about the nephew and BC because them kids is creative. Like, I knew that like we had it in us for describing some good death scenes. So when you're playing D&D and you finally take out the monster that you're fighting, you get to describe how you do it. Like that is one of the big things, especially when it comes to defeating like a big bad guy, big bad evil guy, BBEG.
Yep.
The fun part as a player character is when the DM turns to you and goes, "So how you want to do this?" Because it means that you're the one who did that killing blow and you get to describe it however you want. Now, I had no doubts whatsoever for you, Jeff, and Norm. Like I knew you three had it where it'd be like, yeah, I take it. You
Not that I
had
got to kill anything.
We're getting there.
Oh no! Oh yeah. Ethan took mercy on me.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. Yes, he did.
God bless him. He saw I was struggling.
We'll talk about that one in a minute. I forgot about that completely. So, these two young men who are both stellar beings, and I have to talk up BC for last night because he totally came out of his shell. Like you could see that he was kind of in it a little bit at the beginning, but then he busted the fuck out of that where he's like, yeah, I want to do this. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. If I remember correctly, he had the first kill of the night.
Yes.
And when he described it and how gruesome it was, he's like, yeah, so I want to take my battle axe. I'm going to do this and bring it down over my head and do that. I'm like, damn. And then when Ethan got to the point that he talked about that he caught the bat, he was like, okay, so it's still like it's biting onto my arms. Like, yeah. Why? Like, okay, rolled for it. Okay, I got whatever it was above the needed number. Okay, and I did this amount of damage. All right, describe how you did it. I'm going to take it, rip it off of my shoulder, and just squish it to death.
Yeah. I was like, the glove of Thanos.
Just the amount of description that they got where they're like, yeah, so I'm going to come at it and do this. And then you got poor little Dana, who I might need to do some things for your character just to try and make her less squishy.
Like, seriously, folks, I have, 9 sets of dice? And I blew through all 9 of them because I could not roll shit.
No, the problem was you did
Nat
roll
ones,
shit.
3s, 5s, 4s. The one time I rolled an 11, I almost lost my shit at the table. I was like ready to pat myself on the back.
And then it didn't even hit.
Yeah, it didn't hit.
I would say when you rolled to set fire to that guy, and then you're like, nothing. And then when I was like, oh no, murder sandwich, it's okay. You get advantage on that. You can roll again. Rolls again, and then it was just
nothing.
Son of a bitch.
Pretty much.
Like it was hilarious. And I think the entire table, the favorite part of last night for Dana rolling so many nat ones.
How many heal potions did they use on me?
You had 2, you used both of yours. Norm used his on you.
Jeff used 1.
Yeah, but Jeff used his on BC because he had gone down at the one point.
Oh, that's right.
So that was 3. And then I think Norm healed you. Was it twice after that? No, because he already used his healing word. That's what. So 4 healing things had to be used on you. And let me tell you guys that this little critter that was killing her and just taking her down was a bat with 2 health points.
2 health
All
points.
she had to do was roll a decent enough number to actually hit it. And instead, I warned her because like all DMs, I'm like, you can do that. However, if you fail on what you're about to do, you don't roll a high enough number, something bad is going to happen in a second. If you hit a nat 1, it's going to be really bad. Well, she hit a nat 1, and she had been taking her dagger at the time because her thought was that she was going to stab the little feller that was just attached to her shoulder. She missed him and just got herself. And then it actually killed her. She rolled so much damage she went unconscious. And it was one of the times that then Norm had to come over and bring her back to life again.
Like, I'm really hoping that when we get together in March, it's a lot different for me. I swear to God, I'm going to practice rolling.
You're going to be sitting there doing smoke cleanses over the die and be like, oh, good luck, good luck, good luck.
What do you call it? Saging my dice.
Sage it, cedarwood, sandalwood. You're going to have all of it. You're going to charge them under the moonlight and be like, okay, something good is going to happen. Something good is going to happen.
It was terrible.
It was hilarious. And
it was hilariously terrible.
Her character is supposed to be super charismatic. And I mean like super charismatic. She's got like a +5 or something in it. So that means that when she rolls the die, she takes whatever that number is and then adds an additional 5 to that number. Now this should make a difference. It should improve upon things for her. And yet, here we are, rolling because she's trying to charm one of the characters, the shopkeeper that I'm playing, and instead she rolls like a 2, so she gets a 7. And I'm just looking at her, I'm like, how the hell? I'm super charismatic.
I'm a high elf whose magic failed. My charisma failed.
Your dagger failed. All of
my
it
dagger failed. I
But
lost
then-
my spear. Oh no, well, I had lost my spear in the first battle, but I got it back before we moved on. But yeah, Jesus fuck.
But then the wonderful nephew that I have now fucking stepped forward, comes over, and technically he killed the bad guy, the little bird folk guy, and he literally is like, so because I did it, can I actually hand it over to Dana? And at first I'm like, what do you mean hand it over to Dana, like the great axe or something? And he's like, I want to let her have this kill.
A pity kill. Thank you, Ethan. I appreciate it.
He let her have a pity kill. It was fantastic. Literally let her be able.
One.
I think that was really what sealed the deal. Like, she was impressed with him before, and then the moment that he was like, Dana, you may have the honors of finishing this guy off. So it was like, you know what? I'm gonna allow that, because he didn't just a little kill that guy. He like super mega killed him too. It's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna just let Dana have it. Well, and then she's
So
just like, I set him on fire.
I went up on him and I rubbed my hands together and I threw a firebolt at him and lit him up.
And then we just went with the thought that, okay, now you have light everywhere because you lit the crates up too.
Fried chicken.
So then she was so happy with herself. It's like, all right, there we go. I'm so proud of you guys. The teamwork was amazing. The efforts that they went through were fantastic. Oh my God. It was just good all the way around.
It was phenomenal.
It wasn't until, a few yawns that went into it that then Dana looked up and went, oh fuck, it's already after midnight. We all did the turn look and then came back and went, I've been doing this for like 6.5 hours. I had no clue. I didn't look at the clock at all. Like, I had my phone down unless I needed it to look up things. I didn't touch my phone for any of them. I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
Oh yeah,
okay,
it was totally a great way to unplug. Like,
100%.
Like, social media wise, gadget wise, like my phone was in the other room.
Yep, I understand. And none of you guys did anything that I had to actually whisper to you because none of you did any of that stuff. I'm like, yeah, no, there's no need for whispering in here going, hey, you know this about that. I'm like, nope, nope. There were a few times where I'm like, hey, nudge, nudge, you might want to use this ability, maybe.
No, that it worked.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, a lot of the times that was just a disappointment.
Try this, okay? Nat 1.
That was the best where I'm like, okay, you know what? Your nat ones are becoming so common. I'm not going to keep hurting you at this point. I'm like, okay, your first one killed you. Your second
Just
one.
go in the corner and cry.
Just sit there, see your big ears just floop.
Oh.
I was trying to be helpful. This is what I get for being nice. I knew I should have been an asshole.
Should have been such a bitch.
So the night was like, for me, my stomach hurt because I was laughing so hard at some of the parts, like the nat ones, the ways that like Brendan and Ethan were coming up to just annihilate these guys.
And Jeff's thieving.
Oh my god. Yeah, his concern. Yeah, can I take his boots?
There's a body over there. Can I go just like check that out?
And it's like, oh yeah, can I go?
In the meantime.
And it's like Norm's like, okay, yeah, can we leave? Like, how close we should probably head out the back door before the guards get here. Jeff, do I have enough time to?
But wait, there's a body over there.
I would like to search him. Like, okay, now I know for next time that I'm going to pre-write out what they have on their bodies. And like, all right, they got boots, Jeff. Do you want their boots?
Jeff and his boots.
Hey, to be fair, he was smart when you guys were talking to the shopkeep.
Yeah.
And then he came up with the idea of giving the leather boots and saying, I never asked what color. Like, can they be purple? So I'm gonna let you have that.
Sure.
Because I didn't think, yeah, they are purple leather. Yeah, so what do I get if I bribe you with these purple leather boots? You get exactly what you want because that's freaking brilliant.
Didn't we get info?
Yeah, you guys got the. It was trying to sit there like, I now understand the DM, which is Dungeon Master for anyone who doesn't know. The struggle of wanting to lead your characters to something where it's like, if you guys just do the right thing, he'll give you the information for it. You could bribe him. If you get a charisma check, none of you are passing this charisma check, so clearly that's not working. But goddamn,
not the slightest.
Nope, not for you.
Not for me.
But it was an awesome night.
It was.
I'm excited for now. The next one we're not going to be able to do for 5 weeks because Dana has an upcoming tattoo appointment on the 22nd of February. And then we have the Super Bowl on the 9th.
And Valentine's Day.
And I was going to say, yeah, I was fully ready. I'm like, okay, let's all get together for the 15th. We can play that. And then Jeff looks and he's like, y'all want me to die? And you can tell all of us are just kind of looking like, huh? Confusion.
And he's like, Valentine's Day. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's important to some people. Right. Yeah, you're probably not going to want to do it that day. Probably not a good day for you. So that was just sheer perfection. I was like, yeah, we're probably going to want to not do that.
And I know, like, for me, so I know Taylor's going to be all like, don't forget March 1st. Don't forget March 1st. I have to bake a chicken pot pie. Because that really excited Ethan.
I was going to say, the look on his face, like, he literally was about to put on his shoes, and then all you heard was like, yeah, maybe I'll make chicken pot pie. Yeah. And it was like, God damn, do you not get fed? Jesus.
And my husband's standing behind me. She makes pretty good chicken pot pie.
I'm just like, I don't think anymore, like, he's excited for D&D, but the more important thing is like, chicken pot pie.
Yeah. I come for the food, but I'll stay for the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna have to make sure that we feed him good because he's, the 6'6" being tall, like he's got to have a bigger pie.
I'll make a big one.
Yeah, I was gonna say
A family style pie.
yeah, we're all just gonna look at me like, yeah, so that's Ethan's.
But no, like when you guys settled, when we settled on the date, I noticed Brendan picked up his phone and opened his calendar and put it in.
That makes me so happy because, like I said, I know for him he's so socially, I'll say socially awkward. Like he doesn't enjoy outings. He doesn't get that thrill from it that
Yeah.
extroverts get. Like extroverted people they get their energy from going out and being around a lot of people. And as someone who's dated extroverts, God, it's like the bane of my existence. Freaking fracking. I am 100% an introvert, but you put me with my people that I know and love,
My
and
peeps.
I was going to say it seems like we're extroverted, but we're really not. We're introverted still, but with our own people, then we're like, shiny math rocks, let's go play. We make fun decisions, and we're going to have a
Nice.
fun time. And it was so awesome to see that BC got into it, and just the interactions that were happening around the table. And then obviously it was nice to see Zeus getting involved too, the cat coming up and I was like, hi.
My
Hello.
cat is very jealous. So usually at night when I don't have anything going on, I'm sitting on the couch and he's either on me or sitting in between my legs on the ottoman, and I have to pet him and give him his daily affirmations about what a handsome boy he is.
His daily affirmations.
He didn't get that yesterday. Boy? So I think it was around 10:30. He was up on the chair between Brendan and Ethan, and then he got up on the table.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's just like, okay, y'all need to acknowledge my existence. I mean, he was just getting all of the pets and loves. Like Ethan, every time that he popped up, he's a good kitty. He's like, yes, more,
more human, more.
Why have you stopped touching me? What is this? Like you could see the attention whore deep within him as he's like, you will attention me. But it was good to see. It was good to see our young folk interacting.
Yeah.
Now here's a good segue into the thing that like shattered my heart several times this week, because again, my new nephew is so young, and I don't think about how young he is. I mean, BC's not much older than him because BC's what, 20?
22.
Is he only 22? Oh, Jesus Christ. Young folk.
But he's seen Lord of the Rings.
It's okay. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it, and it's going to be the extended editions. So he's going to see all of it.
Sweet.
So, oh, God. So this week has been like he and I have really hit it off. And thanks to his mom, because his mom's one of my best friends. I love and adore the crazy bitch. It's her fault that I've now adopted him. She's like, okay, here's your nephew. Here's his information. She's like, I don't want to hear this nerdy shit. I'm like, okay, well, now it's going to come back to bite you in the ass, because I'm going to encourage all of the nerdy shit. I mean, all of it. But I forget how old certain games are. So he had asked me at one point in time. So we'll start off with the segue of last night. Dana asking Brendan whether or not she could loan out the GameCube to someone else. And BC's just like, yeah, I don't play it. I don't freaking let him have it. And then it dawned on me. I looked down the table. I'm like, have you even played a GameCube? Ethan's like, no. The oldest console I've played is an Xbox 360. You could hear the heartbreak at the table. It's like, oh, God.
Coming from an Atari 3600 kid, yeah.
At that point in time, you could hear her knees giving way, even though she was sitting.
And they're new.
So this week has been that learning experience of, I am now on the other end. Like, I remember being Ethan's age and going like, "Oh no, I never played that old game. I didn't realize they were that old." Motherfucker. I will slap you. Because he had asked me the one night, he was like, "Oh, have you played the Batman Arkham games?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, like how this was a while ago, like back when they first came out. So like 16 years ago, because I would have been in high school." His response, "Whoa, I didn't know they were that old."
Son,
Oh,
watch your mouth.
rude. Then asking him like, "Oh yeah, have you played?" Then thinking about like some of my favorite games are from the early 2000s
Mhm.
because they were ahead of their time at that point in time. Like, "Oh yeah, have you played like Knights of the Old Republic?" Which I think that one first came out in 2003. There was 2003, and the second one came out in 2004. I was like, graphics obviously don't hold up over time. They are very rough. However, fantastic games, choice driven. You should give them a try. And then him just being like, "Oh yeah, I don't know if I've heard of those ones," or talking about the Assassin's Creed games, and he's like, "Hey, I've played a little bit of this and that." He's like, "I've heard Black Flag is a really good one. Like, it's the best in the series, the entire saga." Like, yeah, I've been playing that since that all came out, which I think is 16 or 18 years old. And then again, you're like, okay. So just every time that he would mention games, I'm like, he's mentioning the newer games. I'm like, yeah, I play a few of the newer games, but like not too many of them. Then he was talking about, so for anyone who knows, there's a new Dragon Age game that just came out. Now, to be fair, there is a freaking 10-year gap between the third one and the fourth one. They took their sweet ass time with it. So I was talking about, I'm like, yeah, once I was focused solely on D&D this week, I didn't get time to actually play Veilguard because that's what I finally finished the third one. I'm now onto that one. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I got Inquisition for free on my PC." He's like, "So should I play it?" I'm like, "Well, I personally always tell people if they're going to play a game series, excuse me, start at the beginning and
Mhm.
work your way through, especially when it comes to BioWare games, which I've talked to you about because I've told
Mhm.
you like you have the Game Pass. I think they should still have the Mass Effect games on it. Those ones you got to play in order because every single game of the one before affects the one in the future. And like
Mhm.
choices from game 1 affect game 3 and whether or not you have access to things or what outcomes are. So for me, I was telling him like, yeah, you know what? I always suggest get the first ones and go from there. He's like, "Oh yeah, like they're really old games."
Oh, Ethan, you sweet, sweet little boy.
And you know what? He doesn't even understand this reference either because he hasn't watched Game of Thrones yet, which again makes sense because only 17. Oh, the sweet summer child that he is. And for anyone who doesn't understand that reference, it's Game of Thrones, Lady Olenna, uh, the grandmother of Marjorie, when she says that they're sweet summer children because they've not known a bitter winter. And I went to go make several references to Game of Thrones last night and then realized when I looked at him, went, "Oh, have you seen Game of Thrones?" No.
And that's when Jeff pipes in. Well, you should.
It's really good. You need to. It's really well done. It is, and it holds up over time. Like they did such a good job with that
Yeah.
show. So there's
Like Lord
there's
of
a
the
few
Rings.
things. Yes.
Like,
Well, again, Lord of the Rings, I didn't realize it hadn't dawned on me that Lord of the Rings would be 24 years old this year.
I know.
Oh God. Like
So,
just ow.
so imagine, because Brendan's 22, right?
Hmm.
Imagine I saw The Fellowship and The Two Towers in the theater, then bought them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brendan was born, and he was about 5 when Battle of the Five Armies came out, because there's that gap.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we watched The Fellowship and The Two Towers. Don't worry, nothing scares my children. They were raised. They cut their teeth on The Shining and The Exorcist, so they good. I took him to the theater to see the Battle of the Five Armies.
Oh God.
Or no, the Return of the King. Sorry, Battle of the Five Armies.
Yeah,
The Hobbit.
Yep.
Took him to see Return
Well, I mean,
of the
both
King.
of them are really good battle scenes.
And so yeah, like I said, he's 22, and he may not love the Lord of the Rings as I love the Lord of the Rings, but he's played the Shadow of Mordor game on his PC. He's played one of the other Lord of the Rings games too, but he enjoyed the Return of the King in the theater, and then he was about 11 or 12. He had the flu really, really bad, and he was like down and out for, I don't know, about a week and a half on the couch.
Ooh, yeah.
And him and I watched the 3 movies extended versions, and he was like, I forgot how good these were. So it's just you get a movie like that stands the test of time, like Jaws. Jaws will never get old for me. I fucking love that movie. I watch that movie like 6-7 times a year. It's like The Shining. The Shining,
I was just gonna say
Bohemian Rhapsody, Jaws are my 3 go-tos.
Such a wide, vast variety. And Rocky Horror Picture Show, you can't forget that one.
Oh yeah, Rocky Horror too, because I watch Rocky at least 4 or 5 times a year.
Yep.
The Shining probably once a month. Bohemian, Christ, I was at one time I was watching Bohemian every 2 weeks.
I was just gonna say, yeah, there was once upon a time it was like a weekly, if not a couple times a week thing.
Yeah, I would post on Facebook. I'd take a picture of the TV screen. And I'd be like, it's been a day.
Time to rewatch it. I don't remember what happens.
So yeah, good times. So yeah, it's nice that Brendan and I can have that to share. So when Ethan does watch those movies, it's going to be even better, because then we're going to have, the 4 of us under way.
I was going to say, yeah, then it's going to be all of the references. Like, he does know some of the references because he actually made the one once he said that he hadn't seen it. I'm like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to make references. And then he said something about the you shall not pass. He's like, that should be used for, I can't remember what it was that we were talking about. He's like, that should be used for everything. I'm like, okay, I'm proud of you. I'll keep you because you actually know that reference. He's like, doesn't everyone? That's like a reference that you should know. I'm like, I'll keep you.
That's one of the most famous ones. So now when Taylor said I have a tattoo booked on February 22nd, Taylor will be accompanying, well, she's going to meet me there, because my tattoo starts at 10 a.m. and it's going to go till 6 p.m. So it's an 8-hour tattoo. I should be able to sit for the full thing. And if you know, my tattoo is going to be on my upper right thigh, and it's going to be a full color Balrog.
God, I can't wait for you to have it. I'm so excited. I'm excited for you.
I'm not going to have little mini Gandalf facing him with his staff. What I am going to do is I'm going to have my tattoo artist, his name is Joe Mater. He works at Stone the Crow in Windsor. I'm going to have, he's really good at script. I'm going to have him write "Fly, you fools" underneath it.
God, it's so good.
When it's complete and it's healed, we will post it.
Mm-hmm.
A picture. You're not getting my thigh on camera. No one wants to see that. And
Oh,
that will be tattoo 37.
lucky number 37, finally going to be the Balrog.
I've wanted this Balrog for a long, long time, and it
Yeah.
was just like it went into my hand.
I was going to say,
Um,
yeah, it just floated on down there. It's like, it is time, Simba.
yeah, because I had talked to Joe about it before, and I said, how much time are we looking at? What are you thinking price wise? And Joe's like, it's a big tattoo. He goes, I wouldn't give you an hourly rate. He goes, I won't go hourly. He goes, but it's got to be full color. He goes, because I've seen it in black and white. He goes, and although it's nice, he goes, you need those oranges and reds in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree.
Oh, God, yeah.
So he said to me, he goes, about $1,000. And I'm not extremely wealthy, but it wasn't. I wasn't concerned about the cost.
Mm-hmm.
I am a cheap bitch. I save my money for shit like this. So the one day my husband and I came home from somewhere. Oh, we were out for dinner with friends. Uh, ironically enough, celebrating the fact that we paid off our mortgage.
That's the
and
way to do it.
And I made a cup of tea, put my jammies on, I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm scrolling through Facebook, which is something I don't do a lot of. And Stone the Crow has a post up. Every Christmas, Joe Mater has a sale, and he sells 5 gift certificates, only 5, at various amounts. So he'll have like $750 worth of work for 300 type thing, right? Well, he had a gift certificate that a few people had said they wanted, but then backed out of. And it was $1,000 worth of work for $400. And in me and all my like wisdom, my husband again sitting on the other end of the couch watching his hockey game. I'm like, can you believe this is still available? And he looks at me. He goes, "So get it."
Mm.
And I'm like, "Hi, Joe. How's it going?"
Joe.
I went and picked up the gift certificate and I booked the appointment, and then I sent Taylor a message. Eek, it's happening.
It's really happening.
So yeah, it's like I said, it just literally fell into my hands.
Yeah.
Like
That's how you know that something's actually meant to be. Like, I don't know why, but suddenly okay, this is gonna be a weird segue and a weirdly sort of like deep thing. But actually I'm gonna see if I still have the picture of it on here. They saved something a couple weeks ago that I've seen numerous times. It doesn't look like I kept it, or it's buried somewhere in my pictures, and I have no idea where. Um, but it's it's something that I've actually agreed with for years, where it's if something's meant to happen, there won't be roadblocks along the way. Like it'll actually come to you naturally, where it's easy. It's not you're not fighting your way. Like there's some times where yeah, you kind of got to fight for what you want and what you need in
right,
life. But if you're doing nothing but constantly fighting for all of it, then you're literally fighting the universe. The universe is saying, "No, this isn't what I have planned for you. You're fighting the current. I
yeah,
want you to go this other way that you're afraid to go, but it's what you're supposed to do." So in your case, it was the waiting for the right opportunity for when it was finally time, and everything lined up so simply for you that night where you're like, okay, I scrolled, don't normally scroll, found that he still has his $1,000 gift certificate for 400. Norm's like, yeah, get it. You contacted him, he responded immediately, because I mean he could have just not responded.
yeah,
So he responded immediately, and then I was like, okay, e-transfer me, you got it to him immediately. There were no issues along the way, everything. So to me, that lines up as it's something that this was when you were supposed to get it. This is the time frame. Like maybe had you fought to get it earlier, something would have gone wrong. Like you wouldn't have been perfectly happy with it because it wouldn't have had the right shading,
Right.
or it wouldn't have turned out right. Like everything lined up for a reason. So what came to mind for some weird reason, but kind of actually goes along with it, is that there's a, if I remember correctly, a Buddhist quote about if you get anxious, butterflies in the stomach, uh, nervous anticipation, and all that when you're around someone. And in this case, particularly, they're talking about like dating, but it applies to everything in life. Then it's not truly meant for you. It's not something that you're actually meant for. Because when you meet your, in this case, like if you meet your person, whether it be a friend, a lover, a new family member that you're bringing into your life, or even just a family member that is in your life, and that's how you feel, then it's not actually a good feeling. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, he gives me butterflies in the stomach." Well, it's not
That could
really a
be a
good
red
thing.
flag.
Exactly. And that's what it's funny because more and more therapists are now talking about that it's actually red flags if you feel like that around someone. And that it's you're actually supposed to feel at ease, you're supposed to feel comfortable in your skin. You're supposed to feel comfortable with that person. So you just feel as if you just seamlessly click together. Like there was no effort involved. You weren't like, "Oh my god, does he like me?" Oh, like this or that or anything like that. It's just you get together and it just is.
Yep.
You just find that person. Like it's how I think I find my what I quote you guys as being my best friends is, I mean, obviously we've talked about before. I know I have multiple best friends. Other
Right.
people can sit there and be like, "Oh, I only got one best friend." I'm like, that's fine. You can only have one best friend if that's what works for you. I have multiple people that fill different needs in my life that are still my best friends because I know I can lean on them and reach out to them. And while, yes, I have multiple of them, it's one of those things where it just kind of naturally all happened, where I wasn't trying to force a friendship or anything like that. It came through unexpectedly and it was just good.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's how it was for us, where it was like, okay, I wasn't walking around being like, "Hey, you, do you want to be best friends?" I'm like,
Let's be
"Eh,
friends.
let's be friends. We're gonna
My
we're
mom
gonna
will
do
send you
stuff."
a check.
Don't worry, my mom will pay for it. She's good for the money.
She's good for it. You get it monthly.
It's a stipend. Okay, you make sure she leaves the house at least once a month. Pay for everything. So
Take her
yes,
out.
so
Here's the money.
just to be clear, don't murder her. I just want you to take her out to a nice restaurant or something geeky. We don't care. So yeah, so that was my random, weird, dark, or not dark, deep feeling for the day that I don't know why it just suddenly came to mind. But it's like, yeah, that works really well for your tattoo and a segue.
It
So
does.
people, you guys have got to hear everything for this week, from geekiness to fundraising to feeling old to her tattoo, the ease that which you get it, to therapy sessions. So you know what? We covered a little bit of everything this week.
And that's what we do, right? We're
Hmm.
two women who like to talk about everything.
Everything under the sun. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that brings us to a close. Otherwise, I mean, we could honestly just keep talking forever, but
Yeah.
we do have to bring it to an end at some time because it's already like, yeah, it's already 1:40 in the afternoon. I still have to figure out like lunches and shit like that for my work week. I'm like,
You go on days, don't you?
yes, I do.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
My condolences.
I was gonna say it's gonna feel early in the morning. I've stayed out the past 2 nights late, way past my bedtime. Tomorrow's gonna be real early.
I get that. I feel it.
Eh.
So, have a good week. If you follow us on TikTok, we have an ethical question that we will be posting on Wednesday.
Yep.
So, kind of partake in that. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to be having a guest on who is a Canadian artist. She makes jewelry. So that'll be fun because go Canada.
Ta-da!
What do they call it? Hashtag Commonwealth on TikTok?
Yes, I think so.
This stupid ban.
Yes. Yep. I was going to say hashtag Commonwealth, hashtag mass follow.
Yeah.
Yep. All the important things that we'll continue to do. And again, we're going to encourage any Canadian kind of content creators, no matter what it is that you do, feel free to reach out. We're happy to help promote you on here. And
absolutely.
I mean, it's fun for us because we get to see different things that are being either made in Canada, filmed in Canada, recorded in Canada, written in Canada. So it's I find it kind of awesome to be able to support our own countrymen.
Yep. We are 100% maple syrup here.
Oh yeah.
So have a good week, everyone, and we will talk to you soon.
Ciao.